So it is about 3:30. District meeting started 30 minutes ago. So for anyone who's relatively new to this channel, you probably know me as a really prompt and on-time person. But for those of you who have been watching for a long time, you might know that I used to have some major problems with being late to things. I actually had a really productive morning. Really productive. It'll be nice when Jessica's back and I have classes again so that I could actually get my life under control. It's not even funny anymore at this point, if it ever was. This is so crazy. I've never been late to anything ever in my life before, ever. And here I am, late. Алло, здравей. Добре. Сега идвам. Ciao. Ciao. Okay. Can you see the moon out there? It's always hard to see the moon with this fisheye lens. I don't know if I've ever mentioned before, but like things that are far away, it's hard to see sometimes. Anyway, so I need to go up the hill right now and then I need to get back home. Great. Now all the people that I've been racing up the hill are gonna catch up to me. Well, I'm really bad at tying my shoes. Okay. Give it a good double knot. Didn't almost get hit by a car this time. Didn't drop a roll in the mud this time. That was a pretty successful shoelace tie. Oh, crazy. You probably won't be able to see this because of the fisheye lens, but there's a little jet out there that just flew right in front of the moon. And you could like see it flying in front of the moon. Because that's what it did, like it flew in front of the moon. So when it did that, you could like see it, how it did that. Okay, I don't know if you'll be able to see this because of the fisheye lens, but it looks like we've got a pretty sunset, or not. What's the definition of a pretty sunset? Because that's really pretty out there, but it's not like all over the place. So I was just walking up the sidewalk, and in a lot of places there's like a narrow part of the sidewalk that doesn't have snow on it, and then the snow's piled up on both sides. So there was this guy going a little bit slower than me, ahead of me. So like I was trying to overtake him, but there wasn't enough room to get around without going in the snow. So obviously the dilemma is like, I need to go faster to overtake him, but in order to get around him, I have to go in the snow, which slows you down. So I'm like trying to get around him, and then here, I'll just pause here for a second for story time. Trying to get around him. So like right as I'm like stepping into the snow to try to get around him, he like hears my foot crunch in the snow, and he's like, "Oh, sorry." Like, I didn't realize you were back there. This is all really loose translation. So I was like, yeah, sorry, excuse me. And he was like, just honk next time. Really loose translation, but he essentially told me to honk like a car. Anyway, he was a nice guy. That was boring story time. Edition 475. 475? Yeah, 475.
Need for Speed Underground.
Как?
Underground. Underground. Underground.
Underground. Underground.
Lekker naar Sancho. Ciao. Ciao, Jessica. Ciao,
Ciao. Ciao. So, this road, like I'm going down the hill right now, this road is always one of the hardest ones to talk to the camera on because like it's hard to find a space where there aren't so many people that I feel comfortable talking to myself. I think because it's like one of the main roads up and down the hill. It's kind of like a secret path for people like me who know the city really well. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know how much I've explained about like the Dimitrovi and their family situation. So Zorka is the grandma of Moni, the lion, who's like 17 years old now, and then Sergei, who is 11, and then she's the great grandma of Nasi, who is 9. I think Nasi turns 10 in April. So they're all first cousins. Nasi's the first cousin once removed, I think is how that works. Moni and Sergei live with Zorka all the time. Nasi lives with her most of the time, but is sometimes with her mom, who lives nearby. Moni and Sergei's parents aren't really in the picture at all. Like, they hear from him every once in a while and see him very rarely, but their parents don't really help in any way, financially or otherwise. So, yeah, Zorka is like 56 years old and takes care of these 3 children, and on top of that has a lot of health problems and hasn't been able to have any kind of work in a long time. Like, we're trying to go over things like budgeting and keeping track of expenses and stuff. I'm trying to avoid borrowing money. But like, those are hard things, I guess, for them to figure out. Maybe I sometimes don't think it should be that hard, but at the end of the day, I have no idea what it's like to have the life that they have. So I'm just trying to be better at not getting frustrated. I like those little buses. It'd be cool to have a little van like that.